this. What I originally called in for, I don't know if it was off the topic. What do you think about forcing integrate? So the issues they're having in Nigeria, integrating those main groups, do you feel like that's something that can't be done, or were you only referring to over here in the West with the racial thing?
Okay, let's put it this way. Okay, uh, uh, Ghana did it, and I'm trying to remember his name. Nkrumah did it. You know what he did to force integration between the tribes? He
No,
did,
nope.
he did the same thing that white people did with their with their white kids. Okay, he made sure that he had enough buses to take the kids from one tribe to another tribe to go to school, and the teachers. So the kids that were taught by weren't taught in school by their own tribe. Okay, and vice versa. So nobody's kid, no tribe taught their own kids. Okay, you had to
So
go.
wait, he brought people down for, so if they came from Volta all the way down to the south and vice versa.
There's always neighboring tribes. You don't have to go all the way down to the south. Okay, there's
Hmm.
neighboring. If you've been to Ghana, there's they're all mixed up. There's what? How many different tribes in Ghana? Like 10, 15
Yeah,
different
plenty.
tribes. Yeah. So all you have to do. There's the neighboring village. There's another tribe. You just send that kid over there and send their kids over to you. And
I
guess
don't know.
what's
Do
going to
you
happen?
think something like that could work for Nigeria? Because the main tribes are the issue, right? Hausa, Fulani, Igbo, Yoruba. But
The-
they're too far apart from each other for something like that.
You if you want them to integrate, you will force it. Okay. That's called forced integration. If you have the power to do it, you force it. They don't have a choice. Did white people want black kids to go to white schools in the 50s?
No.
What did Eisenhower do?
He forced it. He
He
forced
sent
it, but
he sent troops. Okay, but what?
right. No, I was just gonna say that we always live right next to each other. If I want to take Fulani children
Hmm.
from way in the north in Kano State and integrate them with Igbo people in the southeast, I just don't see that logistically working.
You start relocating people. You sure can. You can put them on a bus. You don't have to do it all at once.
Hmm.
You can do it all at once. Where the border is, because they have a bordering state, you swap kids.
Hmm.
May I just
So
You swap kids. You don't have to do it all at once. We didn't do it all at once. Did we do it all at once in the United States?
nope, no.
No. That's why it's
Nah,
forced.
we started with the busing. Yeah.
Started with divorce busing. Basically, it's forced, and white people called it forced. That's how they resisted it. You're forcing us to accept these black kids, and when in Boston, even Boston in the 70s, right? The big riots because they didn't want black kids from wherever they come from to go to white schools. They had protests in the 70s against that shit. Did that stop the United States from doing it?
Nope.
It's normal now, but thing is back in that's just 50 years ago, in the 70s, which is not that long ago. I remember the protest that the folks in Massachusetts were having about black kids being bused to white schools. And that's
Yep.
50 years ago. 50 years hence, you don't even hear about that shit. It's normal.
Yep.
You don't
And
like it, but it's normal.
But then,
Nigeria.
as a society begins to progress, um, people will integrate on their own anyway because they want to raise their social status. Because, like, say for instance, he spoke of logistically, and for those that don't know, I believe Nigeria is about the size of Texas. So when we're talking about opposite ends of that
Hmm.
particular country, they're pretty far apart. But if you have areas, say for instance, Lagos may be like an epicenter where people want to, pursue a certain type of education, they would have to, coalesce in a specific region, and they would have to be in proximity to one another, whether they want to or not, because they endeavor to raise their station. So, at some point, people will integrate when they start to look around, especially with social media. They become aware of the world around them and look at their current situation and say, "Wait a minute, there's a big disparity, between how I'm living and how everybody else on the world around me is living." And I want to do something about that, and so they pursue higher education, and then families that are there want their children to have the opportunities that they didn't have, and they'll put up with integration, so that way their children will have a future that they didn't have.
Yeah.
The challenge there it is you have that religious issue too. That's the thing about the North, that they're Muslim and they don't want to mix with that.
If you have the ability to force them to do it, it doesn't matter.
No, I got it. So yeah,
It,
basically the people
it,
at the top don't want it. That's
the
why it's not happening.
Native Americans did not want to integrate into the white populace. Guess what happened? That's what the white people did here. They stole the
Right.
children and put them in boarding fucking schools, didn't they?
Yeah, the Canadians did the same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
yeah.
that is called forced integration. Do we have?
Kill the Indian, save the man.
Huh? Yeah.
Kill the Indian, save the man.
Yeah.
Also, BGS, like you were just kind of regressing a little bit in the conversation, but you guys were speaking earlier of, I believe it was Vision talking about some of the things that are going on in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And, particularly Nova lady, she actually owns a home in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
owns a home in, I believe it's, I think it's Quebec. What are the French speaking
Montreal.
provinces?
There's Montreal, Quebec. Yeah, Quebec
Montreal.
is a province. Montreal is a big city there, the capital.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of black people there, Haitians.
She owns a home in Montreal and then she owns a home in Toronto. She's a stripper. That's why she got the money.
Okay.
So, basically what she told me is that like all of her friends that she hangs around, they're all either strippers or like some type of cam girl type. None of them like really work like legitimate jobs, whatever. Anyways, she said that all of the girls that she hangs out with date drug dealers or some type of at the very like the most legitimate type of guy that they'll date is somebody that's in the marijuana industry.
Okay.
But like pretty much
she's a stripper though. She's a diesel.
Well, I mean, but when you look at the type of what she looks like, and then what her friends look like, I seen her friends too. They're all
Mhm.
like what you consider like 9s and 10s.
Okay.
And then this girl in particular, she has the whole breast implants, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm. But you said her girlfriend.
From that perspective,
but no, if you look at her girlfriends, okay, her girlfriends are her circle, right? The old term, birds of a feather flock together.
yeah.
Yeah.
But see, the thing about it is that guys, these are the type of girls that a lot of guys envy, and so because these girls are drawn to men like
Mhm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of guys look at that. They kind of want to emulate the type of guys
Mhm.
that get those type of girls, and so
Mhm.
that goes kind of to what Vision was asking about. About basically how why guys don't pursue certain things. Well, because in order to get the girls that a lot of these guys want, sometimes those professions are not that appealing to certain calibers of women. And,
Okay.
and also to the point of this kind of reminds me of a stream Edward Anderson just did, and he spoke of a certain demographic of women
Mm-hmm.
being highly educated.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I found even growing up is that in order for a woman to to have these scholastic endeavors, there's not as much sacrifice necessary in with respect to men. This is not any particular demographic. This is just women and men, in totality.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to kind of bullet point some of this because you're jumping all over the place. So let's kind of streamline this.
Well, basically, what I'm saying is that
don't dance around it. Stop trying to be PC, man. Just say it.
Well, basically, what I'm saying is that men have to make compromises and sacrifices in order to be successful in school, and as far as women can have can actually focus on studies and still have and still basically entertain the opposite sex without having to make that much of a sacrifice.
Because who pays for dates?
Men.
So basically, women don't have to pay for dates, so they don't have a financial burden, do they?
Well, and also they don't have to actually actively pursue men.
But the thing is, it's not about the pursuit. Okay, anybody can pursue. But the thing is, to pursue and be successful, you have to have a certain amount of cash. I got daughters, man, that went to college. The men that they wanted to date are the men that could actually give them a lifestyle. And guess what? A poor college student that's struggling and has to study can't do.
Well, I mean, in all
Yeah.
fairness, BGS, there was a time when I didn't make a lot of money. And
Mm-hmm.
so my compromise for not having money was that I just basically talked to 100, 200 women in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't spend a lot of money, but I wasted a lot of time pursuing women
Mm-hmm.
because I had to compensate for the amount of rejection I got. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to just, take
Yeah.
more shots, basically.
But if you were in a college student in STEM, do you have the time?
No.
No.
No,
You have neither time nor money.
no,
Okay.
you don't have time at all.
And guess who has time and money? The people that are not the people that have the jobs and not. It doesn't take very much money to get a college female and show her a good time. If you have a regular job, you can do that. Okay. But if you have a regular job or they're working a little bit of overtime, guess what? You don't have time to do. You don't have time to hit those books. So basically, if it wasn't for the financial burden, you could easily date a chick. She probably would prefer a guy on her level that's going to school. Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is when you're in school, it's really not about the. It's really not about the. It's really more about the finance. I know because my daughter just went through it. We just went through that bullshit with my daughter, and what is the reason you dated guys outside of class when they were on your level, right? She said because they didn't have no money. They couldn't figure out.
Okay, but so when I went back to school,
Mm-hmm.
I had money because I was working. Even when I went to school years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I had money. I was working full time while I was in school, so I had money. I just didn't have time.
How old were you?
Say what?
How old were you?
One time I was previously, like years ago, I was 25
Mm-hmm.
when I went back to school. When
Mm-hmm.
I was 25, and I had money. I just didn't have time.
Okay, but you had money. Okay, try an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, even a 20-year-old that's in the midst of STEM. What doesn't he have? Two things: time and money. He can't chase 100 women. He can't do all the fun things, and he don't have no money to compensate for it.
Women like going out.
Women like going out, especially young women. It's not rocket science, man. It ain't fucking rocket science. It really isn't. It's not. I lost to so many guys that had a better car and could take the chick to lunch and take her to dinner. All right, it is what it is.
When I was going to school, BJS, it was like that, especially at the HBCUs. You saw a lot of sisters on campus with the dope boys in the 90s. So that was
because they can fuck.
Because they
can fuck. They could fuck. Them dope boys could fuck.
No, they couldn't, man.
No. They had
one thing you cannot tell me about is dope boys and the dope trade, because all that bullshit started in the early 80s in Los Angeles, man. I dated bitches that had babies by dope boys, okay?
Yes.
They all told me the same motherfucking thing. They were fun because they could date you, they could do shit, and they had money. Point blank, period. Had nothing to do with
It's
fucking.
the money. Okay.
Gotcha.
Dope boys can fuck no better than the regular dudes, man.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for that. I was
dick sizes, all that other shit, man, is equally distributed throughout the whole sector. So dope boys had little dicks too. Okay.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Because I always thought that, because I had a girl that sold me that bullshit. And said, "What the fuck?"
What saying? She come up to me. She come up to me. Come on, baby. Don't give me that bullshit. Basically, he had
money.
he had money to take your ass out, man. And basically, okay, there's two things dope boys has. In that one because you're a dope boy, you have a lot of extra time. Okay.
Yep.
You have a lot of extra time, right? And basically, you're bored and she's bored. So even Mr. Research says the same thing. Hey, I got some money and got some time. Let's go to the amusement park, or let's go to Six Flags. Let's go to my boys are throwing this gig, man, down at the beach. Let's go down there. Or they're having a picnic because we all meeting up. And basically, they have a big crew. They all have money. They're all wilding out. They're all drinking. They're all dancing. All doing all this other bullshit, man. Women like that shit.
Well, and also BGS, like when you look at in the entertainment industry,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at, say, for instance, music videos, who resembles the guys in these music videos? It's not the guys that's in STEM. It's the guys that are living a certain lifestyle.